Hey there, internets. So, doing my weekend video really late. It's well after midnight. By the time I got done double checking stuff. So, you're on a subway or somewhere else. Someone, they may seem homeless, may not. They start running around demanding food, drink, money. They start saying they don't care if they hurt somebody. They don't care if they go to jail. They're prepared to die. Do you wait until they actually hurt somebody before you do something or not? Because according to New York DA, the same people that charged the bodega owner who defended himself from a violent assault on camera with murder until they dropped the charges, apparently say you should wait until someone gets hurt. Because they have charged Daniel Penny, one of three people that actually restrained Jordan Neely from hurting other people. And yes, he did a Michael Jackson impersonation. That doesn't justify or cover for the fact that the guy was threatening people. If you're in a situation like that, you don't know anything about his past. You don't know that he's mentally ill. You know he's threatening to hurt people. That's what you know in that moment. All right. If you're not a police officer, you're not a trained martial artist, you may have a very limited ability to choose the right means of restraint. You're doing the best you can. Because the alternative is this guy assaults somebody, hurts them. Jordan Neely already had broken a woman's nose, and including the orbital bone, punching her in the face. Were they supposed to wait until that happened? Again? That's what you got to ask. And I got a bunch of links here that kind of back it up. I dropped one link. The link I actually have here is to a Daily Mail article from Saturday, where it said that the crowdfunding for Daniel Penny's legal defense, he is the only one of the three being charged. Three guys holding him down. And people are saying, we were afraid for our lives. You got a bunch of Democrats running around calling it vigilantism. So according to Democrats, you're a vigilante if you defend yourself or another person. This is the mentality of Democrats. This is why they hate the Second Amendment. They want you to be a victim. They want victims. They don't want people to stand up for themselves or be able to take responsibility for themselves or even their own protection. He's been charged with second-degree manslaughter. I got an article from the Daily Mail. I am also going to have a link, I'm going to put it at the very top of the description, to a Give, Send, Go for his legal defense. It's now over $1.4 million. Maybe that's not necessary, but any excess funds not needed for his defense will go to a mental health organization. It says at the bottom, any proceeds collected that exceed those necessary to cover Mr. Penny's legal defense will be donated to a mental health advocacy program in New York City. So, again, at least nominally a good cause. I don't know which program they're going to donate to, so whether it's effective or not, I don't know. But it's a worthy cause. Now, they're only charging Penny. Maybe that's because he was the one that had the chokehold while other people were holding the guy's arms and legs down until someone could get police. But apparently they expect you to wait, someone to just keep getting punched before police arrive. Okay. Now, honestly, what some call I would just call it chokehold, but some people call it a rear naked choke is a common term these days. That wouldn't be my choice for restraining somebody, probably. But I wrestled in high school. I've done martial arts for 30 years. I've done 30 years of Subak Do training. I can think of other ways of restraining somebody. But these guys are not that, to anyone's knowledge. Just because somebody was in the Marine Corps does not make them an expert on hand-to-hand combat. But the other part of the narrative they don't tell you is that the other two guys restraining him were not white. They were black. So this was not a race-based thing. The governor, which I took up some new links when I just simply Google search, try and look for the comments. Governor Hochul's saying, oh, well, there's consequences for actions, and people saying it's because he was homeless or because he was mentally ill. That is completely irrelevant to the situation. Whether someone's homeless or not, mentally ill or not, when they're threatening people, you got to do something. There's a thing that we used to say is that the weak are supposed to support, or the strong are supposed to support the weak. Well, that involves protecting others from somebody who is potentially violent or violent. They were just trying to restrain him, not kill him. Certainly people said they feared for their safety and or life. If you're fearing for your safety and you accidentally kill somebody, that's still a self-defense situation. It's tragic. I don't want to see it. I don't think this guy, Daniel Penny, wanted it to happen. But it did happen. I mean, maybe, but that nobody wants to care about the facts. AOC doesn't. She just says, "Oh, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong." Really? She doesn't have. Wonder what she would say if it was her that was being accosted by somebody who is homeless or mentally ill. She'd probably want somebody to do something about it. So this is the kind of thing, and part of my thing tonight is, I can repeat all what goes on and on. You see, people like Tim Pool say, get out of the cities. You got to get out of the cities. People insist, we'll just drop everything, get out of the cities. You don't, there's no reason to stay. It's not so simple as just to pick up and move. I mean, if I just wanted to simply say, I'm done with Washington, it's a blue state, I'm going to a red state. I still have to shut down my side business, figure out another job, sell my house, find another place to live when I get wherever I'm going, and have a plan of where I'm going. In addition to whatever other things may tie me there. Now, my dad is dead. He passed a few years ago. His widow is still around. And I try to be available to help. Maybe you got parents that you got to care for. Maybe you got siblings around that it's not so easy to just walk away from family. My family has a farm in another state. What if it wasn't a farm? What if it was a small business that had been in your family 3 or 4 generations? Do you just shut it down and walk away from it? None of that's that simple as just say, let's just go somewhere else. You can't just assume that the job skills that someone uses to get by or make an okay living in New York are just going to translate to the oil fields of the Dakotas. It's not that simple to just pick up and move. So you're stuck in the cities. You feel like you're stuck in a city. What do? You change how you vote. Stop voting for Democrats. When you guys keep voting for Democrats, you're just going to get more of this crap. You need to start voting for tough on crime policies. A couple weeks ago, I did a video where people in Chicago are rioting, all these young people, and then now they got Walmart picking up and leaving, and these ministers complaining that they have food deserts. Well, guess why you have food deserts? The reason you can't shop, work, or recreate in your own community is because you let crime run rampant. That's exactly what they're doing in New York. because you vote for these prosecutors that are going to go soft on crime because you've been fed a line of bull crap that it's all about race. Change how you vote. You want to fix it? That's in the end. And that does not mean voting for somebody even more to the left than the George Soros-backed prosecutor, and that is not a conspiracy theory for all of you leftists out there. Okay? Kim Fox in Chicago got $2 million from the guy. He openly supports these people. He's openly spoken of how he supports prosecutors like Alvin Bragg and Kim Fox, because he thinks somehow you get less crime by letting criminals run the streets, which makes no logical sense. You don't vote for somebody to the left of them, you go to the right of them. Somehow Seattle voted for a prosecutor that was to the right of the previous one. But I have no doubt that someone like George Soros, if not him directly, and the organizations he gives money to, will only proceed to try and get rid of her as well. Because she's not crazy left. Stop voting for these people and you can change it. And I get it. Maybe you want to leave. You've had it. You feel like it's hopeless. Well, I got news for you. All of you that run around saying, doesn't matter, everyone else is going to vote the other way, you vote anyway. Doesn't matter, they're just going to cheat. Then you overwhelm them. You get out and you go door to door. You knock on the doors. I knock on the desk, but it picks up on using my phone for a camera and no real microphone. But everything picks up on it, and it was advised that I would not do that. You knock on the doors, you say, vote for these guys. This guy is about serious crime prevention. You stop putting up with it in your own communities. You stop making excuses. That's how you change this and turn it around. And by not voting for these people, they won't continue a job. How Hochul got elected to her own term, I do not know, other than people having this, we got to keep voting for the Democrat because we can't vote for Republicans. Why? Oh, well, they're some form of bigotry. No, they're not. Most Republicans do not care one iota about, well, none of them care about one iota about your race or your sex. As far as your real or imagined gender identity, they just consider it the same as your sex, so they really don't care as long as you don't push any weirdness, this gender ideology on them. And they generally don't care about your sexuality, other than they're probably praying for you if they think it's sinful. They really don't care. They care about your values and your work ethic. That's what Republicans care about, and how they interact with you. So vote for them. You want to fix the crime problem? You vote to the right. Not keep voting for the left and seeing businesses leave because they can't make a profit. Why any of you think somebody wants to locate in your cities when you don't prosecute shoplifters, or when you want to, now they're talking about because a security guard shot a woman who was a shoplifter who took it from shoplifting to robbery, so he defended himself with a firearm. Now they want to say, oh, security guards shouldn't be allowed to carry firearms. How do you propose to stop this? Most criminal activity is not Aladdin looking for a loaf of bread to eat. Televisions, electronics, video games, clothing, entertainment, other forms of entertainment, none of that feeds you. Okay? So change the way you vote. Most especially if you feel like you can't just up and leave. And you go and get your neighbors to change the way they vote. And if they don't vote, you get them to vote. You get a voter registration, you take it to them and say, you need to vote. Because we're not going to change this unless we start changing who we vote for. And yes, it's uncool to vote for Republicans because we don't do feel-good policies. Got news for you. Which feels better? Fearing for your life and not having businesses and jobs in your community, or tough on crime policies and people that are stodgy and boring? Which feels better? I'll take tough on crime, stodgy, and boring over chaos. Because you know what? Those boring, stodgy people, they like to have a barbecue. They actually do like music. They actually do have sense of humor. You just don't think they do. So, it's kind of a Saturday night rant, but honestly, this is where it's gotten to the point of ridiculousness. So, I'm going to include the links. I checked these links with a site. I'm not paying for NewsGuard, but it's called MediaBiasFactCheck.com. They rate them all as highly credible sources. All of the new ones like Truth or Fiction, City and State New York, and we got articles from I'm looking at the wrong articles from Daily Mail. I didn't check them against Fact Check, but they're generally pretty decent. City and State New York, New York Daily News. And for all you liberals out there, these are liberal sources, so you don't have to cry about right-wing conspiracy news. Okay? So, again, I come with receipts. Until then, y'all take care, like, share, subscribe. And if you haven't before, leave a comment in the box below. I will always thank you for your comments, even if they're negative. Sometimes they might even be constructive. Those are always appreciated. Until then, you all take care.